So they're here to exploit Earth, and they don't like us because we're too spiritual for them. From the original setup of the human design, we are too spiritual. Not at the moment. At the moment, we are ways below our possibilities.
Is it because we have empathy?
That is one part, but empathy is quite common even in between animals. What we do have is this direct access to become creational. That is due to the genetics, that actually our consciousness is creating what we perceive, and once we relearn to turn that around, that we consciously decide what to feel and what to think, then we are not subject to reality anymore, then reality becomes subject to us and we will be creational.
So when you say creational, do you mean it's because we can mate, we can have sex, and we procreate?
No, we can move mountains. This is what is written in the Bible.
Please talk about that.
If you go into the spiritual setup, a normal human, like we came out from 25,000 years of social engineering, from the deterioration from when we expelled from paradise. This is the period of social engineering to limit our ability. So the way we came out from this is split into mind and emotion. And the two set up struggling with each other for dominance internally. This is how we experience ourselves, the way we were made, not by nature, but by social engineering, by religions, by all sorts of influences.
Human-made constructs.
Human-made and non-human-made. But this is the basic condition we need to deal with. When a human manages to revive his heart consciousness, the thoughts turn into something that is embedded in the heart consciousness, and the emotion turns into something that is embedded within heart consciousness. So it becomes one. It is impossible to have a contradiction between the two. And when you reach this condition, that actually the main identification is with heart consciousness, and the thought is a subterranean, and the emotion is a subterranean, but because the identification is in the core, in the center, in the complexity of the heart consciousness, this binary thinking and the trinary emotion become part of the 12th star, of the lotus flower structure of the heart. You know, the 2 goes into the 12, the 4 goes into the 12, the 6 goes into the 12, and the 3 goes into the 12. It's about symmetries of chakras, basically. So if the core identification is back in the heart, and all the rest becomes subordinated to it, everything is in coherence. And when this happens, we unfold these creational powers. And when this starts, it's like that what happens to us next day is what we create for ourselves. Like if my heart is in abundance, next day somebody comes along and gives me 2,000 euros as a present. You know, this is kind of the easy way that starts to flow into our reality.
Law of attraction.
The law of attraction, law of resonance, what I send out comes back to me. We're extremely strong in manifesting these equivalences into our lives. This is how it manifests at the moment. But when this heart consciousness grows stronger, we eventually come into the position that to say, okay, I dematerialize and materialize somewhere else. Because the core connection is to the spiritual realm through the heart chakra. Because
we are holographic in structure.
Yes.
As people.
Yes.
When you go close to the atom, it dissolves. And we're made of atoms.
Yes. In a way, yes. The body, in any case, is just a projection of our consciousness. The entire reality is a projection of our consciousness. The core structure creating these holograms, these material holograms, is the DNA. And consciousness is the link between what we observe and the observer we are. So we create by observing through our DNA. So there is no reality we observe. There's only something we create by observing. And when this authority of being creational is back in the heart chakra, you can materialize an apple in your hand. You can change the color of your hair, whatever. This is being creational in the original sense.
By the power of thought.
Not thought. Thought is too limited. By the power of heart consciousness. The thought is part of this, but thought alone, thought alone is a psychopath. The psychopath is just identified with his mental field.
Not psychopath, but a psychopath, you mean?
No, per definition, somebody that is reduced to his mental field is a psychopath. He can be harmful or harmless, it doesn't make a difference. His mental structure or his spiritual structure is, by identification, is limited to his mental field. Mm-hmm. He doesn't feel anymore, and his heart is dead.